Alright, sneakerheads, I'm sandwiched between two pairs of shoes that you probably wouldn't buy for even $10 each. But I want to tell you why these shoes are vital to the collection and why they were a huge inspiration for me to build the ShoeZeum. To my right, a pair of Zoom Shift FB track spikes, and to my left, a pair of Hachi ND quick strikes. So at a first glance, you'd look at these shoes, think they're pretty ugly, and there's really no reason for me to want to buy them. But these shoes have so much history and heritage. Let's start here. So this shoe is a track spike. It's in the United States colors. You can see from the underneath where the track spikes screw in. And these shoes ended up on clearance at East Bay. I bought them for $14.99. And nowhere in the listing was the description of what these shoes really were. Anyone that's been following my collection knows that my favorite pair are my pre-Montreal track spikes. This shoe was made in 1973 for Steve Prefontaine to run in the Montreal Olympic Games. Steve tragically passed away a year before the games, and he never got to wear these amazing shoes in the events that they were designed for. They're also in the colors of the United States of America. They're also track spikes. But what makes this shoe super duper special is that it has a one-piece toe. So if you look closely, you'll notice that the toe is just a part of the rest of the upper. It's not sewn on in any way. Steve Prefontaine ran so hard and so fast that if his shoes had a sewn-on toe, it would sometimes fall right apart and his foot would tear right through the shoe. So he told Nike, you gotta make me a one-piece toe, and that's what they made him, the pre-Montreal. Pre stands for Prefontaine, Montreal stands for the Olympics. You can see when you look at this shoe next to the Zoom Shift FB just how similar they are. And I never understood why Nike would go to the trouble to create a shoe like this inspired by this, but never tell anyone about it. So I built the ShoeZeum, and I put this modern day shoe next to its ancestor and brought it to life. And I bet you if East Bay did it or Nike did it, they would have never ended up on clearance on eastbay.com. So Nike also did us the favor of actually retroing the pre-Montreal for the first time just this past year. So these are pre-Montreal waffles. They're going to have a waffle sole on there. The waffle sole was Nike's earliest innovation. So this is a really cool example of the Prefontaine shoe, but with a waffle sole so you could wear it every day. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to wear a pair of track spikes around the house. I love these. I have a pair that I wear all the time. I covet these, and I barely look at them because I'm scared of them. And this shoe, I just feel like is totally underappreciated. So let's talk about the Hachi ND. Now, the pre-Montreal came out in 1973, and it was so successful that Nike made a shoe called a Sting. Check this out. The Nike Sting is actually the same upper as a pre-Montreal, but the difference is it's not a track spike. It's made for streetwear. This shoe, if you look closely, has D-ring laces, sort of like similar to hiking boots or ice skates. It's the first time that Nike ever put those D-ring laces on a pair of shoes. Look at the Hachi next to the Sting. The Hachi is an updated version of the Nike Sting for casual wear. But of course, if you looked on Nike.com or went into any store, they would just have this shoe that, to be honest, isn't that attractive, with no explanation of what it is or where it came from. And it came from the Sting, which came from Prefontaine. So let's pull out this other pair. These are absolutely gorgeous. I found them on eBay. They were $700. I actually met up with the person that sold them to me at the bank in LA. I was so excited when I won the auction, I didn't even want to wait for him to ship them. So we met at Bank of America. I pulled out the cash. He gave me the shoes. Love them. The last pair that I want to break out are retros of the Nike Sting. They're a collaboration with Junya Watanabe. He's a Japanese sneaker designer and artist. And again, it's going to be made for everyday wear. They come with a special limited edition bag in here and a little bit of a retro card action, which you don't see oftentimes in vintage runners. So I never understood why they would go to the trouble to create a Hachi shoe and not explain that it's a casual lifestyle shoe inspired by the Sting, which came from Steve Prefontaine. And my hope and dream is that one day there will be a Nike tree online that you can go, and every single pair of shoes will have its lineage traced all the way to the beginning to the very first shoes. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully I've given you an appreciation for the Nike Zoom Shift FB and the Nike Hachi ND Quick Strike.